Give everybody a second to start filing in.
Okay.
Awesome. Julia, perfect, okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Greater Delray Beach Chamber of Commerce's weekly webinar. We're sorry we're a couple of minutes late today. We are super excited because we have Kevin here from Effectv who is going to be speaking on building your brand. So as always, please make sure that you keep your questions in mind because at the end, he'll be available to answer any questions you might have. And please be aware that if for some reason you have to leave a little bit early, we do record these and they're uploaded to the Chamber's website underneath the webinars tab, our Facebook, as well as our YouTube channel. So at this time, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Kevin. Let's make sure that you can go ahead and share your screen and you should be good to go.
All right, perfect. Well, thanks so much, Angela. I appreciate it. It's my pleasure to be here today, everyone. Really excited to speak with you guys. I'm going to share my screen here. We have some awesome insight into brand building today that I'm really excited to go through with you guys. As Angela mentioned, my name is Kevin Stypulkoski. I work with Effectv, formerly known as Comcast Spotlight, in case some of you have been in the marketplace for a while. And so we recently went through a rebrand, and I think that this was the perfect time to talk about building your brand, especially in such an unprecedented year. So I just wanted to kind of go through, what it's like to build your brand in the marketplace, what you can do on your end to really enhance your experience, make sure that you guys are putting your best foot forward in terms of your brand, day to day. Making sure that people in the local marketplace understand your product to the best of their ability and get your message across in the most efficient way possible. So today we're going to go through a few different sections. First and foremost is brand identity. What is a brand identity in the marketplace and the importance and ways to uncover your business's brand identity. And then after that, we're going to be talking about targeting that right customer for your particular business. So Elon Musk once said that brand is just a perception, and perception will match reality over time. His words correlate directly with why branding is so important. Your brand is the perception that consumers have of your business, and this perception has the ability to be altered or changed over time. And so developing a strong brand identity is going to have a multitude of benefits down the line for your business. And some of that being from the fact that it distinguishes you from the competitors. And so that's why we are going to talk about developing a brand identity and the importance of it in the marketplace. So I guess the best place to start in this circumstance is with us. Comcast Spotlight, for a long time, we didn't have an identity. The perception was that you heard Comcast and then you immediately associated that with internet, cable. And the thing is that was the furthest from the truth for our particular line of business. While Comcast is our parent company, we did do something in a totally different realm from cable and internet. Now, we do services through cable and internet streaming, but obviously the messaging can get a little mixed there. People start thinking of us as an actual provider of those things when at the end of the day, we were a TV advertising outlet that has expanded over time and also included things like digital components, streaming services, and as well. So the idea was, how do we change our brand? How do we make sure that people still associate us with a very reputable opportunity for them to do advertising in the local marketplace? But how do we also differentiate ourselves enough from the Comcast parent company to be able to understand, who we are in the marketplace compared to the cable and internet brands? And so now, as you think about TV in the past with just live TV viewing, we shifted our outlets as well too. So as I mentioned, we started to adapt things like streaming services. And when you watch live television, that's definitely a component of how you're consuming content on a day-to-day basis. but you also can be watching on video on demand. You can be watching through the Xfinity website or the Xfinity app if you're an Xfinity provider. You can stream through a network's website if you authenticate with your login credentials. You can also stream on apps. If you were to watch Property Brothers, you could watch it through the HGTV app. And then you can also stream through different devices like connected TVs, Apple TV, Roku sticks. So there's so many different ways to experience content now. And so we are actually inserting advertisements on all of those different platforms. So we wanted to make sure that we weren't just being singly relegated to just being thought of as a live TV platform when we were actually accessing a bunch of different opportunities for our content to be seen locally. So what we did was we changed our name to Effectv as of last year. And so this has actually brought us a lot of opportunity to shift how people see us in the marketplace. And so we actually developed a commercial campaign, and I'm going to share with you right now. And Angel, please let me know if you have any issues here, but I'm going to be sharing the video, and you guys can get a little bit of a sense of who we are and how we've actually shifted our image in the marketplace for the better.
Hi, Kevin. I'm going to interject for just a second. I didn't want to say it in the middle of the video. The sound seems to be a little bit off.
Okay.
But all of our guests, they will receive this. I don't know if you want to try it again or if you want to kind of give an overview, but we can also send this to everybody because that was a very
Sure. No, we can keep trucking along. I'm so sorry about that. I know it can be finicky. So yeah, no, we'll keep moving along here. And that was just a quick overview of who we are. I kind of explained the gist of it, but we're going to be going a little bit more in depth into this anyway as the presentation goes on. So actually, I have another video coming up, so we're going to have to work through this a little bit. But I'll show you the video as best as we can, and then we'll keep moving from there. But you know, in terms of uncovering an identity, so as I was mentioning with Comcast, you know, this was not an overnight change. You know, we were able to really figure out how are we going to get our brand across in the marketplace to the best of our ability. And the first step in that was acknowledging that we don't have one. You know, Comcast is a very reputable name, but understanding that in order for us to move forward in the marketplace, you might have to shift things around to help people understand your product better. So the first step in uncovering that identity is to really acknowledge that you don't have one necessarily. And so I'm going to play two videos here. I'm probably going to get the gist of it by just seeing the actual video on screen. If you can't hear the audio, it's okay, but I'm just going to kind of play two different videos. This is an advertisement for a local business with a potentially weaker brand identity. And then I'm going to play you another video after with their newly formed commercial to enhance their brand identity. And then we can kind of talk through, and I'll open the floor to anybody if they have any questions or comments. All right, so I'm not sure if you guys could hear the audio there, but you kind of got the gist of the commercial and what was being shown on screen, because that is the key component of what we're going to talk through next. So right here is the new commercial that the company put forth. Perfect. So, so I'm seeing some people here are saying the sound hasn't come through. Let's see. Shares audio from his computer via share screen. Okay, so let's see real quick. Give me 1 second here.
While you're working on that, I really did see such a difference in those two commercials. The first one, it kind of like you zone out. That's what you imagine when you're watching, those, it's 12 o'clock at night and you're falling asleep to something. And then the other one, it catches your eye because it's got so much going on, but everything was also clean, like aesthetically clean.
Right. So, so I actually I can't quite figure out why the audio is not coming through. It looks like I'm sharing it, but to your point, that's exactly right. So what you're seeing here is two different commercials. One, obviously, you can say the latter looks a little bit more professional. The camera quality, the lighting actually looks a little bit more consistent. But it also has a story it's telling, right? You can even get it just from seeing the images on screen. You don't necessarily need to have any audio. Perfect prime example is that the second commercial really didn't have much of a voiceover at all. You were getting everything through the actions of the actual participants in the commercial. And so what you're doing is you're creating a memorable brand. You're also showing off new blinds, right? They're showing off how you can do electronic blinds in your apartment. You're not just showing off a wall full of blinds. And so what they're doing there is they're really establishing who they are. They're establishing a really unique message. They're establishing something that's going to be memorable to people when they see the commercial. And so establishing that brand in the marketplace, especially on the local line, is so crucial to being able to get your message across and show how you are a really competitive actually in that landscape. And so I apologize for the audio here. Luckily, we don't have, I don't think we have any more audio for the other commercials for the rest of this presentation, so we should be good to go. But in terms of actually accessing a brand identity and understanding, you have to understand that there's a few questions to really comprehend the concept of a brand identity that you have to ask yourself as a business owner. Do you have a modern brand promise, right? What is your mission statement for your business? Do you have a consistent brand presence? This can be everything from in-store standees to online, whether it be like social media channels or even video advertising if you're doing local commercials via cable or broadcast. And then also, who is that audience you're speaking to? Now, this is so important. And we're going to get into this with a case study later on in the presentation. But understanding who your audience is going to be able to help you achieve the right customer in the marketplace with your new brand. Because if people just really speak out generically, as you saw with that first commercial, you're not really doing anyone any favors. They're really just thinking of you as, oh, they're another blind store in the marketplace. But when you establish something with a unique product, when you establish something with effective mission statements or branding, you're going to be able to differentiate yourself. So, modern brand promise. This is Effective's, or this is our modern brand promise. Our promise is to keep innovating, leading, and redefining TV advertising to deliver amazingly effective results for our clients. It's one sentence, but that's really, in a nutshell, what we're trying to achieve with our company, right? So a brand promise does not have to be something that's super long or paragraph or two or a few pages. It really is just, who are you, the crux of your business? What is your brand promise in the marketplace? What is your mission statement? What are you trying to achieve? In the case of Boca Raton Regional Hospital, I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with them, but theirs is to deliver the highest quality patient care with unrelenting attention to clinical excellence, patient satisfaction, and patient safety, right? It's simple, but why are they able to differentiate themselves in the marketplace as the regional hospital that somebody should go to for their medical needs, be it emergency or procedure or whatnot? So it might sound almost, in some cases, it might even sound generic, but if it's getting across who you are, it's really important. And in terms of having that consistent brand presence, I'm sure everybody on this call is familiar with Publix if you live in Florida, right? But I got to tell you, I actually am from Pennsylvania originally, and I moved to Florida about a year ago. And I already knew who Publix was prior to me even moving down here, because they are such a premier grocery store down here in terms of really dominating the landscape, but it's also about establishing who they are. Let's think about their logo, for example. Super simple, right? It's just a P, just Publix underneath it, but it's got unique font. It's got, and then on top of that, they're able to do a bunch of different branding in the marketplace. You get flyers in the mail from them all the time with coupons. You also get standees, billboards. Now, I know Publix is a big brand, so I'm not diminishing that at all. But the thing is that they're able to effectively brand in the marketplace in a variety of avenues, and then having this consistent brand presence spread throughout, even if it's on the regional level, But even on the local level, as a smaller business, you have the opportunity to really dominate the marketplace with a specific consistent brand presence that way. And so I got a couple of chats coming up here, so I just want to make sure. Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure that you guys are all good. So who is the audience that you're speaking to? In the case of Kaja University, it's very simple. Students in the community, right? Kaja University is pretty well known in the part of South Florida. And really, they're just trying to make sure that they're reaching out to the community and doing their part, but also enticing students to come to their actual university. So, what happens with brand presence, right? Change is inevitable. It's not it can be scary, but it's not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. It can change over time due to market conditions, consumer demand, or even internal shifts within the company. But when change does happen, it's up to you to decide as a business owner how to preserve that brand's identity, right? Now that preserving it could mean that within the changes that you want to keep the consistent brand presence that you currently have. It's effective, it's working. Or it can mean that, we are changing quite a bit, or maybe the landscape of our business is changing quite a bit. How do we keep up with the times? How do we make sure that people understand that we are adapting or changing with industry trends, right? So the question is what do you do as this change occurs? How do you stay with the times? So you fix the front door. So I'm going to actually open this up. I don't know, Angel, can anybody speak via the Zoom call, or is this like an open forum?
So they can speak if they raise their hand. It gives us the option to allow them to speak. So if anybody would like to say anything, or if you have—
Perfect. Well, I just wanted to extend the question out to everybody on the call. What do you think fixing the front door means in terms of a business?
To our viewers, feel free to raise your hand.
Yeah, I was going to say, no worries. Not meaning to put anybody on the spot here. There's probably no wrong answers. It's just everybody's personal interpretation. So if anybody would like to raise their hand.
So I'm going to go ahead and jump in. I mean, I guess the front door is the first line to your business, to your home, to anything. So if there's something wrong with that, I would assume that that's where you have to start.
Right. So, fixing the front door could be something as simple as, like you're saying, it's the brick and mortar of the company, right? If you are a storefront, it could be the branding of your storefront. It could be the location of your storefront. That's definitely a primary component. But in addition to that, it can be things like your website. It can be things like the social media presence that you have online. The front door essentially is an all-encompassing term for what people see from your business immediately. When they drive by you on the street, when they go online, when they go onto Facebook and they see an ad, what is the first thing that they're seeing of your business? Because that, at the end of the day, is the most important component to fixing the brand. If you're able to really generate interest by just seeing a logo or a quick tagline, this is going to help people look further into your company. And so this gets to the next point and how you're able to actually start doing this on your end. What I'm going to present to you today, this is awesome. It's free. And in case any of you guys don't know about this, Google My Business is a free tool and it helps you manage how your business appears during a Google search and on Google Maps. So this is an opportunity for you to really expand your business completely free and accessible to you at any time. And so when people search for your product or they search for a service near them, there's a lot of research showing that they're usually close to making a purchase. It could be something like an oil change, or maybe they want to fix their roof. Whatever the case may be, it's important to keep your information on Google as accurate as possible up to the present date. So how do you do this? Now, as Angel had said, we're going to be sending along materials, and this is also going to be posted live if you want to refer back to it. But it's actually very simple. All you have to do is have a Google account associated with your business. And if you don't have one, they're free to create. But if you go to google.com/business and then you just click on Manage Now, you're going to have the opportunity to fill out a bunch of different prompts that can include your business name, location. And once that's completed, you're going to have the opportunity to verify the listing. And you can do this via phone or email. There's a couple of different options. But this is the simple way to just get yourself started and get your name out into Google My Business. But then once you have it created, the idea is to optimize your listing the most accurate and enticing information possible. So this includes your business name, locations and areas served, hours of operation. I actually, I know we probably have to, keep moving here, but in terms of people with hours of operation with the pandemic, there was a lot of businesses that were closed. I can't tell you how many times I searched on Google and I looked for a business because I was like, I needed to go, go to the doctor, for example. And the business hours that were listed were the business hours previous to the pandemic, right? You cannot go to the doctor at 8 a.m. because they were only open from 12 to 5. So updating things like that on a consistent basis can really help because people trust your business more because they know that you're actively, making sure that your listings are correct. Putting a public phone number down, the easiest way to reach you, a website URL, immediate return on investment to be able to click on your link, and attributes. Are you guys wheelchair accessible? Free Wi-Fi? I mean, these little things right here, they're usually omitted from Google My Business listings, but quite frankly, like having those little facts there, it can really help people out, especially something like free Wi-Fi, for example. If you're a local coffee house or a local restaurant, it's really great for people to know that they can go there and get some work accomplished at their lunch hour. And then finally, and this is, in my opinion, the most important aspect of the Google My Business listing is updating your photos. So according to Google, businesses with photos see 35% more clicks to their website and 42% higher requests for driving directions to those locations through Google Maps. So updating the photos for your business can have extreme benefits to seeing that front door customer come in. That can include a cover photo of your business, a profile photo. This can be something as simple as a logo, for example, and other photos to make your listing more informative. So for example, you can have exterior shots of your business, interior shots, maybe service positions if you were a service company, service jobs that were done locally, food and drink, staff members, if they have a specific professional garb or showing community efforts. Whatever the case may be, these photos can be uploaded at any time, swapped in and out via Google My Business. It's no big deal, but you do want to make sure that these photos look as professional as possible. A lot of times people will post a photo of something really quick taken on their iPhone on the go, and it's not necessarily going to generate that brand awareness or that brand excitement as a professional photo would. So you want to make sure that if you do have the opportunity to have some proper lighting, some proper photos and editing opportunities there, you do want to make sure you're putting out the most professional image possible of your company. And this can also include something like uploading a video. You have the opportunity to upload a 30-second commercial to make your business stand out among other businesses in the category. So if you've produced something like a commercial in the past, make sure that it's up to date, make sure that it's brand consistent. That's definitely, we've seen that too, where a lot of people will take an old commercial they shot 5 years ago, but they change the brand on every other front via photos, via website, and they put their old commercial listing next to that and it doesn't correlate. You want to make sure that you have a consistent brand message across all of your platforms. But you do have the opportunity to upload all of these things, and having this customer facing image as soon as they Google your business, that's really great stuff. You're going to really see much more traffic get driven into your business, much more awareness, and also much more intent to buy, as Google's proving with the research they've done. So the one thing that you should do on a recurring basis is to log into your Google My Business dashboard. So you can do this on your computer, but you can also do this through an app on your phone. You can just make changes on the go, mobile. It's totally easy, but you do have the opportunity to just constantly update it that way. And just make sure, I mean, it only takes a few minutes of your time, and these few minutes can go a long way into generating more business and more customer-facing opportunities for you. But we fixed the front door now. So let's just say you got your new logo for your company. You got some professional photos done. You've got the Google My Business listing up to date. Everything, even social media, everything looks kosher. Everything looks great. Perfect. So now you have to figure out who's walking through that door. So we're going to go through a scenario here. Luigi's Pizza has been open for 10 years. It's a local pizza shop. They had a great website, always updated with the latest specials, and they added a new crust to their menu. They wanted to entice people to come in for that. And they're trying to gain more male customers because they have sports playing on their TVs frequently. So, we asked them at the time, we said, well, who's your target? Who are you going after? And they said, well, we want to find men. We just want to get men in here. And they said, men love pizza. But the thing is that not all men are created equal. Not all men necessarily like pizza. Not all men necessarily want to watch sports. But what we did was we worked with them based on customer surveys and different types of research they had done in the past based on people who subscribe to their pizzeria determine who is your customer, who's coming in most of the time, who should we go out and target more thoroughly. And so I would ask you all to do this. Take a moment to think about your own businesses. Who is your target? Does your business also target men, or maybe it's women or families or children? Or is there more to it than that? Because at the end of the day, there probably is. And being able to garner some insight into actually your customer at the base of who they are, not just a generic attribute like man or woman, but to understand their buying habits, to understand who the type of people who are coming into the front door. That's going to really help you generate a better brand for your business. And so here's some factors to consider across the board. Gender, age, where do they live? Ethnicity, what do they look like? Occupation, income, hobbies, interests, marital status, family structure. And at the end of the day, what is their perception of your business? Learning who that exact target audience is going to help you produce ads and messaging that resonate with your consumer better than ever. So now I just wanted to speak a little bit further about our business and how we actually contribute into this entire ecosystem. We have an in-house agency called Mnemonic. And so they deploy data-driven campaigns and they create effective advertising placement through important messaging with unique audience segments. So our paid production team actually ensures that you guys have relevant creative that sets you up for success down the line. And so they are a strong creative partner throughout this entire process. They work with you hand in hand, and they translate your goals into effective creative advertising. And then what they do is they work with you. What kind of messaging do you want to get across? They will take a deep dive into your website. They'll try to understand more thoroughly your brand promise, what you're trying to get across, and then they'll develop an ad campaign centered around that with unique creative messaging. And they do this production on every level for every budget. So you never have to be worried about, okay, well, I don't think I have enough to afford this, because they will work with you and showcase, this is what we can do in your budget range, and we'll try to make it as poignant as possible while also having that professional level. The one thing I will tell you about Mnemonic, or as an agency, is that every ad, that they have award-winning ads. They put out some phenomenal stuff. And they do this all, for the most part, regionally and locally. These are all ad campaigns that are done for businesses in the area and across the country. So you want to create an advertising commercial that you can post on social media, that you can post on your Google My Business listing. Obviously, all of that goes unsaid. But geography matters, right? So one of the other things that you don't always look into when creating your brand and trying to figure out your best target opportunity is geography. Where does your business see the most customers coming in from? Do you have one storefront? Do you have multiple storefronts? Is most of your business done online, transactionally? Is most of it a service where you have to have a consultation first? All of these different things come into play here, but what's important is to find out the specific zip code clusters, or as we call them on our end for advertising, zones, and then you can figure out from there, should I be advertising in the entire market from, for the West Palm DMA, as we call it, it would be from like Vero Beach all the way south to Boca Raton, or should I be thinking about something more specifically? And so if we zoom in here, you might find out like, hey, most of our business is coming in from, West Palm to Boynton Beach. So okay, West Palm, Central Palm, Del Rey, those are target areas that we should be focusing on. What this does is it creates an effective campaign opportunity. You don't want to be advertising anywhere where you think that your people are not going to be coming into your business. It's a waste of advertising efforts. It's a waste of dollars. You want to make sure that you're creating an effective campaign, no matter where you're doing it. So what do we do on our end to ensure that? Well, in addition to the Comcast viewership data that we're getting from our cable boxes, we have supplementary research tools. And this includes Nielsen ratings, ComScore, the Experian, the Credit Bureau, and more than just that, but those all help guide our strategy and boost your campaign's efficiency and impact in the marketplace. Because at the end of the day, we're going to use all of our research and data as possible to be able to make sure that your campaign is being seen by the eyes and ears of people who are going to be most likely to come into your business and effectively buy something. So now more than ever, you need attribution solutions that are reliable, transparent, actionable, and help you optimize your results. So a lot of people think of advertising, or people who, or businesses who are going out in the efforts of advertising, be it on billboards, newspaper, whatever, that they're just selling a business in, okay, great, campaign's done, go on out, enjoy yourself. Well, let us know in a year how things are. No, that's not how we work at Effectv. Our idea is to create transparency at every single part of the campaign. We have tools and reporting that are specifically designed to do just that. We're providing clear, easy to read reports, and they measure your campaign attribution, your return on investment, and help us to continually optimize your results. So that way, as we see the feedback coming in, we might see that maybe you have 2 commercials currently running, and we're finding that we're getting much more traction with one of the other commercials prior to the other one. So instead of running those on a 50-50 split in the marketplace, you might want to heavy your campaign up on a specific commercial spot. Or you might find that, wow, we really did a deep dive. We thought our customer was women, 40 to 50. But what we're finding is that a lot of men are also coming into our place of business. We can optimize your campaign, which networks you would advertise on, which cable networks, be it news or sports, or even if you were on streaming platforms and in digital services like websites. All of these places, we have the opportunity to use our data to transfer over and see where the people that you're trying to target are actually watching and viewing content. And so our commitment to you in the marketplace is to help you achieve your marketing and advertising goals. And we want to give you an access to the capabilities that maximize your budget while also ensuring advertising effectiveness. And so we're always dedicated to white glove service here. We provide in-house creative teams like Mnemonic to be able to help generate a commercial that's most effective for your business. And at the end of the day, we're just trying to create advertising solutions and drive results for your business. And so now I would like to open up the floor with Angel's permission to see if any of you have any questions about this. I know this is a lot of information. Some of it's a little pertinent to, in terms of like Google My Business, where something you can take action immediately, like as soon as you get off this call. But I'm also here as a consultant as well. And just know that I'm working hand in hand with the Delray Chamber of Commerce. So if you guys do have any questions moving forward, you will have my contact information. And I'm always happy to hop on a call, even just to discuss and consult to see what your business is trying to achieve. And see if Effectv is a unique avenue for you guys to go down and an effective one at that.
Wonderful. Yes. Everybody, please feel free to type any questions that you may have in the Q&A box or the chat box. I know people tend to like that one a lot better for some reason. But yeah, no, that was quite a bit of information. Towards the end, because I didn't realize that, what you do exactly. I mean, I know you guys just rebranded a year ago, but this is very, very fascinating. And I do agree that, when you are connected to something else, to another business, you really have to make, your identity known. Do your products work for B2B businesses?
Yes. So we're always trying to translate to make sure that you guys are having effective branding in the marketplace. That's first and foremost. So we also work in B2B capacity as well.
Okay. And so again, so this was like quite a bit of information. Can you clarify exactly what services you guys provide?
Sure. So we like to call ourselves, we're basically targeted local advertising. We're using this through a multitude of platforms. So as we had kind of touched on in the beginning of the presentation, we used to really, our bread and butter used to just be live TV. That's how everybody knew Comcast Spotlight as, right? It was, I want to be on MSNBC or Fox News or ESPN, Monday Night Football, and people just knew us as, oh, they're that service that inserts advertising there. But what we're using now, and the way we've changed our branding over time, is that we're really just trying to target audiences when and where they're watching and how they're watching. Right? They can be consuming content on the go, on their phone through an app. They can be watching at home, pre-recorded content on demand through a website, right? Short form videos. If they were to go on weatherchannel.com, look at the local weather report, like Isaias was coming through, and they might have wanted to get a quick 2-minute bit. Okay, is it coming our way? Ad content plays before those videos. We have the opportunity to insert on all of those different types of platforms. And so what we're trying to do is, if you find out after your branding efforts, you created a new logo, you created a new mission statement, maybe you figured out how to optimize social media channels, Google My Business, and now you've determined our target audience is maybe household incomes of 75K plus, and traditionally women between the ages of 25 to 54. Well, we know based on the data that we have through Experian, through ComScore, through our set-top boxes, where people in those household incomes and those age demographics are actually watching content. right? So we're targeting the campaign on networks and on content that they're going to be watching. So that way, the dollars that you're spending on an advertising campaign are going the most effective way possible. You're not catching the viewers that aren't going to be relevant to your business.
Right. So when a company, when they go through this kind of rebranding and, they take all of the steps that were explained in the presentation, are you guys able to provide an estimated return on investment time? Like, are you able to say, okay, if we do all of this from 6 months from now, you should see this, and then from a year from now, you should see this? Or is it more just kind of dependent on what the business is and how much they're willing to do at one time?
So it really is, it depends on a bunch of different factors. First of all, understanding your target audience is key. Because a lot of times, this is where we were trying to hint at earlier in the presentation, people think they know what their target audience is, and then they start advertising to that audience, but they didn't really actually do their due diligence and understand their customer as well, right? So then their advertising efforts are going a little bit more unresolved because they're not actually getting that type of ROI that they were looking for. But traditionally, TV advertising or even just targeted advertising in general through social media channels, whatever, it's all about branding exercise in general. So you want to make sure that you understand you're not going to put the commercial out and the customer sees the commercial one time and then they immediately jump at it and go, okay, I'm going to buy that product. It might entice them to research further, but consistency is important. You want to make sure, like we were saying, dominating the marketplace, having your ad being seen on multiple different cable networks, on multiple social media channels, on the internet, through on-demand content. If you're seen on all of those different places, people are going to start memorizing your brand more. So while somebody might not be, let's just see a home improvement, for example, somebody might not need a new roof at the moment, but if you need a new roof, they're going to remember your business. And that's important. So we do measure the results on a consistent basis. But we don't like to give an exact time frame because depending on the business, depending on their product, that time frame might change in terms of an intent to buy.
Okay, awesome. Makes sense. I just had a question. So back to the zones, because I know you were saying, it makes more sense to advertise in the zones where people are interested, your target audience, as you said before. Is there a benchmark of when you can expand outside of those zones? Because West Palm, of course, is very small compared to all of Palm Beach County, and ideally, I think businesses, even though that might not be their target audience, at some point they do want to expand outside just West Palm or wherever it would be. So is there a benchmark of when you can be able to do that? Or is it, again, kind of, I guess, just dependent on your product?
Well, I'll give you a prime example of this. We had a local client and the client was pretty small to start out. And they were located in Boca Raton. And they were like, well, we want to start a campaign. What do you want to do first? Well, we just want to own our backyard. We want to get customers here. They had a dedicated staff of maybe 4 to 5 people. A few of them were answering calls every day, but their campaign kept gaining steam. And over the course of a year, they went, wow, we have to hire more people to our place of business. Like, we're getting such an influx of people calling us now that we have to make sure that we hire more staff in. And then once they hired more staff in, they realized, okay, well, now we can expand the parameters more, right? Now we have more people to cover these calls. Maybe we can extend into Delray Beach, right? Or extend into Boynton and West Palm. So it really is, once again, advertising, it's very interesting because it's something where you really have to feel out every single business. There's a lot of businesses that have that kind of direct to consumer, come into our store and buy it immediately. And then there's a lot of other ones, like I was saying, that are more consultative, right? They want to talk to you more about your service. They want to understand it might be a huge investment or maybe even a monthly investment. And so all of those are, they change the campaign dynamics in a certain way. But that also can show, like, okay, if you're a business with a slower sales cycle, that you might just want to own your backyard first. And then after that, keep expanding as your business grows and maybe you hire more employees.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is all very fascinating. I think now when I watch TV or am on any sort of website, I'm really going to be paying attention to what I'm looking at, because I've never really noticed why certain things capture my attention. But it's definitely interesting to know that there's basically an algorithm behind it, which is very, very fascinating. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to type them in the Q&A box. I'm going to go ahead and check Facebook to see if anybody has any questions there, and I'll be right back.
Perfect.
All right, it looks like we have no questions for Facebook. Kevin, is there anything else you'd like to say for our viewers that are watching live right now?
Sure. Just one last follow-up here. Obviously, we went through a lot of information today. We're going to be sending along additional slides from this presentation so that you guys can see, how to create a Google My Business account from the ground up, in case you haven't done that already. You'll have my contact information as well if you'd ever like to discuss some sort of advertising campaign in the area. And just know that, we're always open to even help with just consultation, to even see if going down an avenue of targeted advertising like this would be good for your business. And so we're very transparent like that.
Sorry, I have one more question. Do you guys make videos?
We do. So that's so Mnemonic, the in-house agency, they would create a commercial campaign on behalf of the client. So what we would do is if you were interested in exploring some sort of a media advertising campaign through us and you did not have a commercial yet, we would put you in touch with Mnemonic, our in-house agency, and we would set up a creative strategy session essentially. And then you would be able to go through, explain budget, see if there's any restrictions or any type of messaging you want to get across. They'll draw some storyboards, come up with some ideas and concepts, run them by you, and then they'll kind of move from there. And they do most of the heavy lifting in terms of finding talent and finding different creative avenues or places to shoot. So we all do that in-house here. We're kind of a one-stop shop for you guys. From the ground
Oh, that's awesome. Does Mnemonic have like a YouTube channel or anything where people can go and see to get?
They do, and we'll include that as well. They have a Mnemonic, they have a website, and so the website has a bunch of their creative from across the country. They've done it in all different local zones, and so you guys can get a sense of, if you're looking for a specific type of industry to kind of see how they've, tailored advertisements that way. We'll send a lot of information too.
Oh, neat. That's a really cool resource to have.
Yeah, no problem. Awesome.
All right, so we're done today. Thank you everybody for joining us. We really do appreciate it. And as I mentioned before, this will be on the Chamber's Facebook page, our website underneath the webinars tab, and our YouTube channel as well, which is just delraybeach.com or Delray Beach in YouTube. Thank you, Kevin, for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time today. And at this point, I think we're going to go ahead and close it out.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time, Angel. I appreciate it. And everyone, if you'd like to reach out, feel free.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.